Hey everybody. Um, Yesterday I was on High Point Road, uh, at the red light between High Point Road and Holden Road, and there was this couple that was sitting out there, and you always see people panhandling on High Point Road and Randleman Road and various places around here in Greensboro. And I've seen a lot of panhandlers, and I've seen a lot of odd things here in Greensboro. But anyway, these two particular panhandlers the woman was sitting there, and the man was the one holding up the sign, and his sign said, "Just released from prison and homeless. Anything will help." And I said, "Well, damn, at least he's honest." And but one time we were sitting there at the same red light, and this man had been standing there holding up a sign, and you would see him almost every day. And a lot of these panhandlers are the same people that you see on a daily basis. But anyway, this one particular man was standing there holding up his sign, and we was sitting there. There was a long line of traffic, and we'd been stopped by that light a couple of times while we was sitting there waiting in traffic. And I watched him. It was a fine, misty rain that day. I watched him very carefully fold up his sign because, he intended to use it again the next day. Walk over into McDonald's parking lot, which was right behind him, and a woman sitting there looked like she had on this fur wrap and a Cadillac, and she popped the trunk, and then he put his sign and everything in there and closed the trunk and got in, and they drove off. So he's standing there begging for money every day, while apparently that's his wife or somebody that's driving that Cadillac with the fur. And I said, ain't that something? You never know who to believe. I know I worked at Wendy's when I first come down here, and there was this homeless man that would come in there all the time, and he would want buns, and he was like, "You're just going to throw them out anyway." So finally one day the manager told him, he said, "Sir, I can't give you a bun, but I'll tell you what I can do." He said, "I'll give you an application." So I gave him an application and a pencil, and the homeless guy took the application and tore it up like that and threw it back in his face. So he didn't want to work. He just wanted something for nothing. He wanted something for free. And then, one thing I did see, this was maybe, it wasn't even a year after I'd been down here. I think it was in 95, first part of 95. I know it was in February, and it was real, real cold outside, and we had an ice storm. And so, excuse me, this was before the store had opened, and we were on a break, and it was just me and like 3 other people working in there at the time, but they were all men. I was the only woman. And so I'm looking out the dining room window, and I see this man going up the street. Now, keep in mind, it's real cold, and ice was glazed over everything. And he was a tall, big, buff, black man walking up High Point Road. And I thought to myself, that's back when, people still wore spandex and stuff. And I was watching him, and I thought to myself, that is the tightest spandex that I had ever seen in my life. And I kept watching him walk, and I noticed he was, muscular and everything, but he's walking with his back to me. I said, that's the tightest spandex I've ever seen. And he turned around sideways, to go down in the Kroger parking lot, and he had this big, huge erection. Holy hell, that was not spandex at all. He was stripped naked. And I said, oh, Jesus Christ. Now I got this dilemma. I'm seeing this stripped naked man out in the middle of an ice storm with a heart on, and I got to go tell these guys this. So it was quite embarrassing. So I hollered at the manager, and I said, there is a man with a heart on going in Kroger's parking lot. And he was like, huh? And the other guys had been on break. They were sitting down here at the table in the back, and they were falling all over top of each other just to get to the window to see. So the manager went and called, he called Kroger first of all. and told him at Kroger what was going on, and told him, to lock down the store. Don't let anybody come out the parking lot, and that way they could lock the store so that man couldn't get in. Didn't know what was wrong with him. He had to be on something. And then he called the police, and told them exactly what was happening. That there was this big man with a heart on in the parking lot, and the police department sent this little old female cop. She was the only one. I watched her pull up, and at this time the man had gotten into one of the cars in the parking lot. And so, because Kroger stayed open 24 hours at that time, so he got in one of the cars. And so she gets out, and we're watching. She pulls her gun out. She's doing this number, and she's walking around the cars, and she spots him. And so she stands back and calls for backup. And so then they send backup, and they send some officers with some clothes, and they let the man get dressed in the car, and then they take him off to jail. He had been on some heavy drugs, though. He had been on some serious drugs. And then one night, I was working second shift one night, and this man had come to the window. We had like maybe five people in the dining room, and it was time to close, so we had the doors locked. They were still eating up. And this man comes just running up and has his hands up like this and just falls into the window and just slides down. There's just blood everywhere. And so we unlock the door, and they help him in and lay him down on the bench and call 911. Well, he said that he had been shot, is what he said. He said he'd been shot in the arm. And that's where I swear, I've never seen that much blood come from one person in all my life. And he kept passing out, and the manager, gave everybody gloves. We had to keep setting him up. And so paramedics got there. But the police got there, and then the police said that nobody was allowed to leave the store until they came back. So they went to the hospital with him to get the story. I guess nobody could leave because of the fact they thought the man had been shot. And because there was blood all the way across High Point Road, too. So, but come to find out, when the police came back, they said that he hadn't been shot at all, that he was a homeless man. And across the street from where the store was, of course now it's Borders bookstore and all that now, but back then it was a mobile home sales lot where they sold mobile homes. And this was a homeless man who had been sleeping in one of the mobile homes. He would somehow sneak in while they had the doors unlocked. Well, this particular night, they had already locked all the mobile homes, and he tried to go in through a window, and he fell, and a piece of the glass went in through his hand all the way up and out through his elbow, and it was barely sticking out each place. And so that's what had happened to him. And maybe about 3 or 4 weeks after that, he came in, and he said he wanted to apologize to everybody that was there that night, for the way he came in like that. But they had to amputate his fingers and stuff, so that was sad. But you see homeless people standing out begging for stuff all the time, but I never really seen homeless people like I did. I don't see them here like I used to in Orlando. I was in Orlando one time, and I was in Orlando for about a month, and we would walk down from where Stephanie lived at to the 7-Eleven, and Ola Park, I think Ola Park was the name of it. The 7-Eleven was right around the corner from that, and there would be homeless people sleeping on sidewalks. There were big wide sidewalks, and then the homeless people would be sleeping on them, and they had their sleeping bags and everything. And I think that's the first time I'd ever really seen a homeless person, and that was sad. It was just sad. But anyway, and there used to be this man, and I don't think he was homeless, but he was dirty. He used to play a tuba. Maybe not a tuba, maybe a saxophone. I'm not sure what he played. He played something up on the corner of High Point Road. And he would come into Wendy's almost on a daily basis and get 2 great big cups of water. And sometimes he would get him something to eat. And so the manager finally one day told him, you got to clean up behind yourself or you can't come back in here. Because he would go down and take up this whole table and have napkins everywhere and blow his nose and everything, just leave everything cluttered and get up and walk out. and that was just so wrong in every way. But other than that, sometimes I know a lot of people don't have a whole lot, but that's why you should always be thankful for everything that you have. And how is it that saying goes? Uh, I don't remember. Something about be happy with what you've got. I don't remember how that saying goes, but anyway, I know I liked it. I think Danny's got it on his profile page, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look that back up. It's something about. It's not about having what you want. It's about wanting what you have. And so, some people's got more than others. Some people got less than others. And my theory is this: no matter what kind of day you're having, be it good or bad, somebody's always got it better. Somebody's always got it worse. I don't care if you're the richest person out there, somebody's still going to have it better than you do. If you're the poorest person, somebody's still going to have it worse than you do. So, be happy with what you have. I know I'm very happy and very satisfied in my life. And so, well, that's all I have for now. And until next time, bye-bye.